The new Fiesta ST has 182 horsepower and Ford claims that it will accelerate from rest to 62 miles an hour in 6.9 seconds. We're at Bruntingthorpe to test that claim and to also investigate if there's a way of making the Fiesta ST accelerate faster without touching the engine at all. So how fast will a standard Fiesta ST accelerate anyway? We have one here. I've got the slightly uphill section of Bruntingthorpe and I have a 182 horsepower hot hatchback. Let's roll her up to the line. Turn on my traction control off, which will take a couple of seconds. What do you reckon, 3,500 RPM? I reckon about 3,500, maybe more, maybe 4. Goes pretty well to me. Always feels a bit brutal when you're getting numbers out of a hot hatch, doesn't it? A manual gearbox. It's all done by about 6.2, so there's not much point in taking it out much further. There we are, indicated 100. We think of these things as not being that quick, don't we? But when I was younger, if I'd had a small car with this kind of performance, I'd have been over the moon. So there's 120. What are the numbers? Well, we got 0 to 60 in 7.2, and we got 0 to 100 in 18.3. That seems pretty reasonable to me. But is there a way of making a Fiesta ST go from 0 to 60 and from 0 to 100 even quicker without even touching the car? Remember, we came here with an Audi S4 and did some magic. Well, there's even more magic going to happen now.
And here it is, the Mercedes G63 AMG and the Brian James AMAX trailer. The G-Class is a relic cryogenically preserved and rammed with steroids. It has 544 horsepower, 561 foot-pounds of torque, and I think there's an outside chance it could come close to matching the Fiesta's own acceleration times whilst towing it. On its own, it'll do 60 in 5.8 seconds on the slightly uphill bit of the runway. It's a complete animal.
We really ought to have a practice before we do this for real, so let's venture out onto the runway and see what happens. I have 544 horsepower. Behind me is a car that weighs 1,300 kilograms and a trailer that weighs 645 kilograms, we think. It's a lot of weight. I'll put it in sport and we'll see what sort of numbers we get, shall we? That is absurd. Nothing towing that weight should be allowed to accelerate that quickly. 70 indicated. 80. 90. That's an indicated 105. Now look, I'm going to back off there and I'm not going to describe the numbers. I'll tell you why. Because sitting here right now, I think I should figure it from inside the Fiesta. This is about the Fiesta, so I think we'll get Neil to drive the G-Wagen and I'll just sit in the Fiesta with the V-Box and I'll read the numbers out from there. But I might have a little peek now and see what it did. Could be good. This is a bit unnerving then. Neil is getting into the G63. I'm sitting in the Fiesta behind. I've never been involved in a sort of figuring session where I could look at my emails as I was going on. So this is really clever because the V-Box is Bluetoothed. So I can see the speed readout here. I'm connected to the V-Box, which is actually on the front of the G-Wagen. So I suppose we ought to have a go, haven't we? Here we go then. Figuring a car without being in it. Oh my God, that's alarming. 30, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. I'm being towed at 99, 100. That'll do, Neil. Slow down, thank you. Bloody hell. Right, okay. We just did 0 to 60 in 9 seconds and 0 to 100 in 22 seconds. So the Fiesta's honour stays intact. The Fiesta ST is quicker under its own power than it is being towed by a G63, but that thing is a monster. We're 2 tons back here. That weighs 2.5 tons, this is 2 tons, so at 4.5 tons, the G-Wagen, the G63, still has the performance of a kind of reasonably fast executive saloon car. And I'm now going to do a few emails sitting back here. JF Musial, where the is my money this month? Mike Spinelli, when will you learn to speak properly? Matt Farah, why are you so big? Mike Musto, all old cars are lovely, you're correct.